Hey neighbors, welcome back to Hometown View. What comes to mind when I say Tennessee whiskey? Today we're diving into a story that's been hidden for over 200 years. It's the story of Nearest Green and his contribution to the whiskey industry, which is an $18.5 billion industry in the United States. I recently had the opportunity to visit Shelbyville, Tennessee for a work conference. And after our meeting, several of us toured the Nearest Green Distillery right there in Bedford County. When I first stepped foot on the property at the distillery, it was just as if I was on any other really nice property, nice facility. They're beautiful grounds, beautiful buildings. Everything was put together so nicely. But when we began the tour and we started learning about the history, the hidden history of Nearest Green, I was not only shocked, but I was awestruck by the things that I learned and just the amazing contributions by Nearest Green that has been kept a secret and hidden for so many years. Fawn and Keith Weaver are co-founders of the distillery, but they're also working to revive and advocate for the story of Nearest and his descendants. And they have started the Nearest Green Foundation, which is raises funds for scholarships for the descendants of Nearest Green, and they're just doing such a great job of keeping his story alive. Uncle Nearest, as he was referred to back in his day, was born in 1820, and he was an enslaved man on the farm of Dan Call, who was a local preacher. He was also a grocer, and he was also a distiller. For many years, the story was that Dan Call was the master distiller, when in reality it was actually Nearest Green who was the distiller, the master distiller. One day, an 8-year-old Jasper Daniel came to the farm to seek employment by Dan, and we know him today as Jack Daniel. But Dan Call saw something great in Jack and introduced him to Nearest, and he was actually quoted by saying that he wanted Jack to become the world's best whiskey distiller if he wants to be, and then he wants Nearest to teach him. So that began the mentorship of Nearest Green to Jack Daniel, and Nearest taught Jack everything he knew about the whiskey distilling process. When you tour the Nearest Green Distillery, you're going to learn so much history about the United States. You're going to learn about Prohibition. There are secret passageways that have been recreated on the property that just kind of give you an idea of what it was like to live in the time of Prohibition. You're going to learn about the women's suffrage movement and the 18th Amendment and the 19th Amendment, and how Tennessee played a huge role in the 19th Amendment, and everything, even down to the number of chairs that they have in one of the rooms on the property, are very symbolic. Even the stained glass windows that they have on the property are very symbolic of all of this history. The Weavers have done a great job, and the team at Nearest Green Distillery has done a great job of preserving and promoting history. So getting back to the story of Uncle Nearest, following the end of the Civil War in 1865, Uncle Nearest received his freedom, and he continued to work for Dan Call, while Jack was wanting to leave the farm and venture out on his own in another area of Lynchburg, Tennessee. And he invited Nearest to come with him, and because Jack saw Nearest as more of a mentor than anything else, and he wanted him to come with him when he left the farm. And Nearest said, "No, I need to stay here. It's time for me to retire." So Jack went on his way and ended up creating Jack Daniel's Distillery and Jack Daniel's whiskey, while Nearest went into retirement on the farm of Dan Call. And to me, while we were touring the facility, the thing that really stood out to me was that Nearest had such a wonderful contribution. Whether you drink whiskey or not, the contribution that he had to America and the United States, and just the history that was hidden for such a long time, it's just mind-blowing to me. And I'm very thankful for people like the Weavers who have resurrected this and revived that history, so that they can continue to tell the story of Nearest Green and honor his legacy. In reality, Nearest Green is the one that taught Jack Daniels the whiskey distilling process, and up until now, he received no credit for that from the general public at large. Another neat part of the tour is that you'll learn about Victoria Edie Butler, who is a 5th generation descendant of Nearest Green. She's the distillery's master blender, and she is a force to be reckoned with. She is breaking records, she's setting records, and she's doing amazing things through her work at the distillery. So as you can see, there's so much to learn, there's so much to understand, and there's so much to unpack in the story of Nearest Green. We can't get into all of that here, but I encourage you to check it out. Shelbyville, Tennessee, Nearest Green Distillery. And before you go, be sure to subscribe and like and share this video, because as you subscribe, it allows us to be able to create more videos and content like this. Hope you have a great day, neighbor, and we'll be talking to you soon.